I'll keep an eye on who wants to speak for you, John.
Thank you. Well, good evening, members. Apologies, I have a poor connection tonight, so I might be breaking up, but I'll give it my best shot, dependent on technology. So can I remind everybody that we keep our microphones on mute and only unmute when you are making a contribution to the meeting. Please keep your cameras on, and as you will be aware, both myself and Vice Chair will keep the cameras on, microphones on throughout the meeting. Can I also say that if you wish to contribute, can you click on the hands up button? You're all aware of this, I know, on the control bar, and the hands up symbol will be displayed next to that person's name, notifying that you wish to speak. Tonight we'll be using Microsoft Forms for voting on agenda item 3, 5 and 7. A poll will appear on the members' screens, and any members joining us by telephone will be asked to state their vote. So I say again, good evening, members and officers, and welcome to this meeting of the Housing and Regeneration Scrutiny Committee, which tonight is being held via Microsoft Teams. This meeting will be recorded and made available to view via the Council's website, except for discussions involving confidential or exempt items. Therefore, the images and audio of those individuals speaking will be publicly available to all via the recording on the Council's website at www.caerphilly.gov.uk. Moving to the agenda item 1 is to receive apologies for absence. I think there's a list going round. Can we have a list of apologies, please?
Yes, Chair, we have had apologies from Councillor Oliver and Councillor Sargent.
Thanks very much indeed, Kath. Kath, do you want to do a roll call for everybody? Make it easier for us, please.
Yes, Chair, happy to do that. Members of the Scrutiny Committee first. If I call you in, please indicate you're present. Councillor Adams.
Present.
I can't see Councillor Bevan or Councillor Cushin. Councillor Ellsbury.
Yeah, present.
I can't see Councillor Goff. I know we had problems in the pre-meeting, so he may be joining us. Councillor Harding.
Present.
I just go back. Councillor Goff, could you just indicate you're present, please?
Present.
Thank you. Can't see Councillor Higgs. Can't see Councillor Leonard. Councillor Owen. Councillor Gez Kirby.
Present.
Councillor Owen.
Yeah, present, Kath.
Can't see Councillor Price. Councillor Ridgewell.
Present, Kath.
Councillor Walter Williams.
Present.
Councillor Zaplatinsky.
Present.
And we have Cabinet Member Councillor Whitcomb.
Present.
And Councillor Stenner.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, members. Moving on to agenda item 2, which is the declarations of interest. Councillors and officers are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and/or prejudicial interest in respect of any item of the business on this agenda, in accordance with the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution, and the Code of Conduct for both councillors and officers. Do we have any declarations of interest this evening? I take silence as no, so thank you very much, members. Moving on to agenda item 3, which is to approve and sign the following minutes of the Housing and Regeneration Scrutiny Committee held on the 19th of October 2021. I will go through from page 1 to page 5. Page 1 to page 2. To page 3, page 4, and finally page 5. Are there any matters arising? I don't
Chair,
see
we don't do
hands.
matters arising.
Apologies. Apologies, Kath. Can I have a mover for the minutes, please?
I move, Chair. Councillor Williams.
Thank you. Seconder?
Yeah, I'll second.
Thanks, okay. So shortly we'll have the voting forms in front of our screen, so we're waiting for that now.
Chair, if I can, I'll be abstaining from the vote as I wasn't present in the last meeting.
Absolutely, Rob, no problem at all.
That's moved, Chair.
Thank you very much, Kath. Okay. So we now move on to agenda item 6, which were any reports to come forward, Kath?
Chair, it was the work programme 5.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Work program 5. Apologies. Yep. So yeah, it's over to you, Kath. Then, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I just highlight to members the Appendix 1, which is the work programme. As members can see, the next meeting of the Scrutiny Committee will be held on the 1st of February 2022. Can I just highlight to members that additional items already showing for you on as an information item to come before you then will be the tenant satisfaction survey results. That's in addition to what was published in the last meeting. And also the next meeting then will be the 15th of March 2022. We've been asked to add additional items to have the local housing market assessment and also the gypsy and traveller accommodation assessment. So if you're happy to add those items to the March meeting, I can publish on the website.
Move that we
Members, are you happy
do.
with that? Can we have hands up for that, please? You're on mute, Kath.
It'll come up as a forms vote, Chair, if it's moved and seconded.
Okay, can I have a mover, please?
I moved it, Chair.
Thanks. I'm breaking up here. Sorry, Mike.
I'll
Can I have a
second.
seconder for it?
Second.
Thank you, Walter. Okay.
That's unanimous, Chair.
Thank you, Kath. So, agenda item 6. Do we have any reports coming forward, Kath, this evening?
No, there's been no request, Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. So we now can move on to agenda item 7, which is the draft Newbridge to Risca corridor master plan. I think we've got, excuse me a minute. Okay. Cabinet members going to present the report or officers?
It's going to be me, John.
Thanks, Andrew. Okay.
Thank you, members. The report before you tonight is to seek the views of the Scrutiny Committee on the draft Newbridge to Risca Corridor Master Plan prior to its presentation to Cabinet for endorsement prior to a 6-week public consultation exercise commencing on the 12th of January 2022. Sorry. The Caerphilly County Borough Council and the wider Cardiff Capital Region is in a period of transformative change. The need for a strategy to coordinate regeneration initiatives and capitalise on funding streams is urgent to maximise the potential benefits for County Borough. The signing of the City deal and the Cardiff Capital Region Investment Fund signalled an unprecedented investment of £1.2 billion to support the region's economic growth. The investment fund will be used to take forward a wide range of projects and schemes that contribute to that economic growth. In terms of the Newbridge to Risca corridor, the existing employment base and strong tourist economy are the foundation that present opportunities for economic renewal and growth, and allied to additional funding streams can promote the area as a major employment and tourism and recreation area. The master plan seeks to integrate the strong economic retail and tourism recreational base to realise added benefit for the economic recovery and growth. The Newbridge to Risca corridor plan sets out a development strategy and framework for delivering these outcomes and will form part of the basis for the bids for funding streams of the projects in the area. The master plan now needs to be subject to public consultation to get input throughout communities to the proposal. And there are 2 recommendations, namely 3.1 that the draft Newbridge to Risca master plan be endorsed by Scrutiny Committee and recommended to Cabinet for endorsement of the draft to allow public consultation to take place, and 3.2 that the draft master plan be the subject of a 6-week public consultation commencing on the 12th of January 2022 until the 23rd of February 2022. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm not sure whether I was breaking up on that or not. Just so as I know that people can hear me, can you all hear me okay at the moment?
At the moment, Chair.
Thanks.
Not now.
Okay, great. Okay. I have a feeling I've got a dodgy connection. Okay. Can we move over to officers on this? If you can hear me, can we move over to officers on the report, please, presented?
Yes, certainly, Chair. That falls to me.
Thanks, Dave.
Just a couple of things to add to what Councillor Whitcomb said. Basically, this is the fourth in our series of master plans that complement the regeneration strategy of Foundations for Success. And the master plan covers the areas of the Ebro and Lower Sahawi valleys, comprising the wards of Abercan, Cross Keys, Newbridge, and Risca, Eastern, Western, and Esthee. The master plan includes a vision that seeks to build on the existing strengths of the master plan area as an employment, retail, leisure, and tourism centre. There are 8 objectives that seek to protect and enhance the master plan's area's status as a sub-regional employment centre, to reinforce the role of the 2 main town centres, to promote and enhance the tourist economy by diversifying and increasing the tourist product, to diversify and improve the offer Cumbrae Forest Drive and the Monmouthshire Brecon Canals and the town centres and other attractions, to improve accessibility to the master plan's area services and attractions, to protect and enhance accessible community facilities, including sport and leisure facilities, to provide housing that will meet local needs, and to promote the area's attraction as a group of connected places to be enjoyed by local people and visitors alike. And under these objectives, there are a number of schemes and projects that are identified within the framework as a whole. The main aim of the master plan is to expand on the area's focus of employment, leisure and commercial centres through identifying new projects and enhancement to existing facilities, and equally importantly, linking them together more productively and proactively. The master plan has been subject of engagement with stakeholders, members and officers, and input from these events have informed the preparation of this document. We have held 2 member seminars, one at the outset of preparation seeking views on what to include, and a second at the latter end of the process seeking member input on the draft document. As Councillor Whitcomb has said, the purpose of this report is to seek Cabinet approval for placing the master plan on consultation. Then, following the consultation on the master plan, it is intended to address all responses and finalise the document with the intention of seeking council approval for the final document in the summer next year. And that's the quick synopsis of it, sir.
Thank you very much, Dave. Before I open this up for debate, can I just thank the officers for the work that's gone into this. This is a complex and comprehensive report with a huge number of details in it, and we have a lot of discussion that's gone on prior to this. I'm immensely looking forward to public consultation. I think we should get some important feedback, but at this juncture, I just want to say thank you to all of you who've been involved in this, and we're over to the debate now. So anybody want to speak on this?
Chair, I had some opening remarks regarding the very first page on that fabulous photograph, mainly of Newbridge. No, it isn't. Sorry, it's mainly of Risca. So where is Newbridge? David, I'm sure you were able to find a fabulous photograph as you have, but the corridor seems to have only one end to it at the moment. I hope if this is going to be published and goes out, on page 2, we would have a lovely overhead shot of Newbridge as well, and the area down to Cross Keys.
Yeah, we'll certainly take that one on board. It also doesn't actually take into account the lower Sahawi Valley either. So that's over the hill and far away. I take the point about the picture. We have asked our technicians to do this, and these are the pictures they've come up. We can change them. I do believe Newbridge is in the distance if you've got a very fine microscope to see it. But
well,
other than
it has to be. Yeah, I've actually increased or multiplied the shot up to 100%, and I can go up to 200%. Perhaps if we're doing a glossy document, Newbridge on the back page.
Well, we'll certainly look to have, to revisit the photos, especially when we come to the final document. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you, Mike. Dave, if you can hear me, Dave,
Yeah.
maybe a composite image would address that.
Yes. Yeah.
We've got Councillor
Thanks.
Walter Williams with his hand up, Chair.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Evening, Dave.
Evening.
On page 6 of the agenda, I think it is 2.4. Is a map of the valley and everything, and it says the master plan area includes the principal towns of Risca, Pontymister, and the settlements of Newbridge. How did you decide what's a town and what's a settlement?
Right. That stems from the adopted local development plan, and there's a hierarchy of settlements in there. There are principal towns, there are local towns, and then there are neighbourhood centres. So Risca Pontymister is one of our 5 principal towns, and Newbridge is one of our local centres. So the rest are community centres and neighbourhood centres in that. So that's why it's worded like that, because it's the whole of the master plan is actually drafted in respect of the LDP, because it's supplementary planning guidance to it.
Okay, thanks for that.
It's not a slight on any of the towns or villages. It's just.
Thanks. Are you happy with that? Bob Owen, Bob, your hand was up. It's gone down again. Did you want to speak?
Yes, please. Yes, please, Chair.
Fine.
Yeah, my hand is still up according to me, but
oh, sorry, it's come off on my screen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just a couple of things, really. Obviously, it's great to see now that we're really moving on with this. Particularly, there's a lot of things to, particularly around, the whole of the Isline Valley is brilliant, and particularly in Risca, there's a lot of stuff. When we talk about the consultation, which Councillor Whitcomb alluded to, starting in January, how is that going to be sort of put out there for for residents and whatever, for access to well, firstly to really see the document, and then to put forward comments and whatever. That's the first question, so that we make sure that we get it out into the into the various communities right throughout the plan area. That's number one. And I've got a minor technical point here, probably for Dave. It's within the plan to do with T Darren, and it's 6.73 within the plan. And it talks about the site. We've been waiting for this for years. There was the flood alleviation and whatever. And it does say at the very end of the paragraph on it that they're currently looking forward to bring the site forward for affordable housing. Now, affordable housing, it might be, we're looking now at sheltered housing there, and there's a lot of work gone in there. Whether that needs changing for people to understand when it goes out, or they might be thinking it's going to be like affordable housing as in social housing and everything else. So does it need to say that it's now being looked at for a major sheltered housing scheme? So that's the 2 questions, please.
Yep, certainly. I can certainly answer the first question. We haven't finalised the details of how we're going to do the consultation. We're in consultation with our communications team at the moment. It's going to be primarily through electronic means generally. We're looking at potentially putting up or at least visiting key of our shops and businesses in the town centre to see whether or not we can do a leaflet poster to put up in respect to that, to try and publicise it. Any recommendations you have in terms of widening our scope and ability to contact people, we would certainly welcome and acknowledge. So we haven't finalised that yet. We're trying to get to operate as many, get our fingers into as many pies as we can. and we will utilise any means that is legitimate for us to do so. So, as I said, that is still ongoing, and discussions have been held over the last month with our communications team in respect of that, and hopefully we'll have a better idea in about a couple of weeks' time.
Okay, if I could just come back on that, Dave, because it's a good answer,
sure.
and that's brilliant. But just with respect to the town centre management groups, we've started to have meetings about those going forward and having breakfast meetings and whatever.
Yeah.
Is there likely to be a town centre management group before this consultation starts? Because that would be a good point where we could have brought it forward for the people who then come along and saying, you know, would you advertise this in the shop windows, etc. If that's not, of course, we'll have to try and drive it by other means. So that was just a response to that one.
Thank you very much. That's good. I'll get Mark onto that one tomorrow.
Can I say that, Dave?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just to say that yeah, we are planning on doing town centre management events as from January. So it fits in quite nicely, actually, in terms of the consultation. And we could actually arrange one of the very first ones to be in the Rysgapontimster area to enable that and to facilitate that dialogue with businesses in particular.
That would be good.
I've taken a note of that, Councillor Owen, and I'll take that back to the team.
Thank you.
Okay. In terms of the second one, the wording that's been used there, I know Mark spoke to our housing colleagues in respect of that to get the up-to-date position. Admittedly, that was some time ago now, because it's been the report has been prepared for probably about 8-9 weeks now. So things may have changed in respect of that. What I'll get Mark to do is to check with our housing colleagues tomorrow to get the up-to-date position in respect of that and clarify what we mean and what we're looking to put on that site for you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
No
okay,
problem.
Bob, thanks. Mike.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Right, a bit of a wondrous question. What's going to happen? Because we're all wondering what's going to happen differently over the next few weeks compared to how we were moving. And of course, yesterday we reopened just about I think all of our libraries, open access. Now, normally with a consultation, of course, we would have been expecting to have exhibitions and information within our libraries around the borough, and certainly for this one down this corridor. Could we have been expecting to carry on with that from January if the current circumstances hadn't changed? But now, of course, we may have a whole new item, whatever, coming from what we can possibly use, and whether we'll be able to be having people together again in any small numbers. So that's something. Did you consider it, and have you now obviously got to put it on hold?
We did consider it, but we ruled it out. To be honest, given the uncertainties over the COVID situation, it made more sense, and it was more robust for us to continue with a digital based approach to approaching this, accepting that that there are people on who don't have access that way, and that's why we're keen to try and publicise this as much as possible in all sorts of ways that we can think of, because we need to reach people who basically aren't on the digital format. Yeah. But I know that our communications team will be sending things out via our social media, by all our digital links in the usual way that they do. So those who are au fait with that will be notified probably in advance of these, but it is those other people we need to get in contact with to get their views as well. We'll facilitate them in terms of how they want their documentation, but meeting face to face was ruled out quite early because of the COVID situation.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Any more hands up at the moment?
I can't see any, Chair.
No, okay. Just quickly, if I may then, Dave, as you probably know...
Sorry, John, I just wanted to quickly come back in.
Yeah, go on.
I didn't get my hand up quick enough. I do apologise. I didn't mean to speak over you. with respect, just another thing, as we say, how we're going to get this out there. I mean, we're live on air here now. I know we're not live, but people can see this meeting, so they know this plan is out and about. When is it sort of technically, officially, that we can discuss as councillors within the wards? I know we're talking in January, it's only 5 weeks away or whatever, but could we sort of, if I can say that this consultation is coming up and whatever, to sort of pre-warn people, to look out for it, etc.
Well, I
If I may, go on, Dave. If I may just come in just quickly, you'll be aware, Bob, that this is the first phase, and it goes through the cabinet process as well, doesn't it? So
yeah.
I don't think this will be a public document. Well, it is a public document essentially because of what you just said. But in terms of real discussion, it has to go through cabinet first. But Dave, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, no, it was just that. I mean, the fact that the committee report is a council document, actually, because the master plan is appended to the report, it's out there already in the public realm, and we've given a date for the commencement of the consultation, so you can freely talk about the consultation taking place. In fact, I'd welcome it if you did with your constituents. That would be great. And in respect to that, the decision, unfortunately, then won't be made until the 11th. Of January, the day before, when it goes to cabinet. So we were originally planning to do a cabinet before Christmas, but that wasn't possible. So now it's the day before. So we're getting all our ducks lined up, ready to shoot on the following day. So, but certainly you can talk to people about it, no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. And sorry
Okay,
for
Bob.
jumping in.
No problem at all. If I may, Dave, just talking about the fact that it's going to go to cabinet. There are a couple of tweaks on the report which will make it a little bit more accurate before it actually goes out properly to the public domain, because there are a couple of issues that I think there's an omission of Wiley in one of the lists, which I know you're aware of. There's a clarification of Babel Chapel and its location, I think, which is another point. And the community garden within Waynevale Park. I think those are all going to be, so it'll be a slightly different report that goes to cabinet and then finally goes into the public domain. So, but that's just the sort of tweaks you would expect. It's a draft document still, and that's why we're doing that. Anything to add to that, Dave?
No. In terms of that, those changes are factual changes. There's nothing that actual changes the regeneration framework within it. So those changes are being made as we speak. Mark was working on them today, so it will be well in time for the cabinet report in January.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, right. I don't see any further hands up at all. If I can just repeat myself, officers have done an immense amount of work on this report, and a number of us who are in the wards where the report is reflected have been involved in this. It's been a lengthy process, but I think it's a hugely effective process. I think that's crucial to it, and detail that we found in that. It's worth a read, quite frankly, even if you don't live in the ward. It does paint a picture of where we look to be going in the longer term. So thanks again, officers, for what you've done now. And I think it's appropriate now that we move on to the recommendations, which are set out on page 19, and it's recommendation 3.1, which is the draft Newbridge and Risk Master Plan be endorsed by the Scrutiny Committee and recommended to Cabinet for endorsement of the draft to allow public consultation to take place. And recommendation number 3.2 was that the draft master plan be the subject of a 6-week public consultation, which of course we've touched on here, commencing on the 12th of January until the 23rd of February 2022 as well. Kath, we're going to vote this one, aren't we?
Yes, Chair. If somebody can move and second it, please.
Yes, can we have a mover, please?
I move. Kirby. There we are. Yeah.
Thanks, Jez. And a seconder.
Councillor Adams.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, and the forms is now on the screen, so we can move to the vote.
And that's unanimous, Chair.
Thank you, Kath.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you, members. Right.
Thank you very much.
So we now move on to agenda item 8, which is the Economy and Environment 2021-2022 budget monitoring report for period 5. And I think, Elena, you're going to introduce the report?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Chair. This report informs members of projected revenue expenditure for the Economy and Environmental Directorate for 2020 to 21 financial year. The service divisions include Regeneration and Planning Division, Infrastructure Services Division, Public Protection Division and Community and Leisure Services Division. The recommendation is shown at 3.1 of the report. The Scrutiny Committee members note the contents of this report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mark, are you going to present the report?
Not so much present the report, Chair. Just to remind members, obviously this is the Regen and Housing Scrutiny Committee, whereas the finance report is a period monitoring report for the whole directorate, but most of that directorate sits within the remit of the Environment and Sustainability Scrutiny Committee. So if members could restrict queries tonight to Regen and Planning, which is in the remit of this committee. And Dave Roberts, the author of the report, is here, I think, for the first time, Chair, since taking over from Mike Eady in terms of appearing at Scrutiny to present these reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Dave is going to present the report, Dave, yes?
I've got nothing further to add to Elena's comments.
Fine, okay, that's fine. Thanks very much indeed. Okay, so the debate is open. Rob, you've got your hand up. Councillor Goff.
Yeah, sorry, Chair. I don't think anybody else wants to come in first. I just want to pick up on several of the budget headings there. Not only, and Mark quite rightly pointed out, to try and keep us focused, underspends, and they tend to be with staffing levels. And having spoken to several departments over the past couple of weeks, it would appear that several of the departments staff are under extreme stress because of staffing levels. So I was wondering, we've got a joint scrutiny in January, whether we can have a report covering all the vacancies that have evoked these underspends, and be told really whether they're being kept open to manage budgets, or if there's a recruitment problem, we need to know about it. So as members, I think it's incumbent on us to ask the question on why the underspends, why the staffing issues, and I'm happy that it comes to a joint scrutiny in January.
Thank you, Rob. I've got two hands up. I'm sorry, I don't know whether Rhiannon put a hand up first or Mark. You've spoken already, Mark. Rhiannon, do you want to come in on this?
Yes, Chair, if I can. I just to say, from my service area in particular, the issue isn't so much vacant posts, because as you know, Councillor Goff, I don't keep posts vacant ever. It's more about the timing of when people leaves. There's a lag normally in recruiting, because new people coming in have normally got to work their notice and stuff. So it's not a case of we got lots of vacant posts sat in the structure, because we haven't. The only area where we're really struggling to recruit in my area is really in catering and hospitality. And that is generally where we're having difficulty getting people for front of house jobs. But in terms of professional staff, we've got a full complement of staff at the moment, except for actual posts that are currently being advertised now because staff have moved on to other posts. So there aren't lots of empty posts sat in the structure at all.
No, thanks, Ree. I'm not being specific, Ree, but in dealings I've had with various departments over, say, the past 2 or 3 months, there seems issues on staffing levels, recruitment and retention, really. And I'm trying to find out a steer. One, if we're, obviously department heads are aware of that, what are they doing to address it? And can they give us a feel for why it's happening? They haven't all gone and been HGV drivers. So where are they going? What are they doing? And why are we've gone from an authority that used to be a place where people wanted to come and we recruited easily, that we've now in the pond with everybody else in the muddy water, competing on those levels. And I'm trying to get a feel for it.
Before I invite Mark in, and I think the issue is one that is a universal issue in terms of recruitment now. Certainly across the South Wales authorities that I get involved with, it is a problem which is it's not unique to Caerphilly. It's a national issue. But Mark, I'm sure you want to add something to that.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I'm going to argue against my own advice now. At the start, I said we'll focus on regen and planning, but Rob has kind of given me an in here to talk about.
That's the boost of your position, Mark.
Yeah, boosting my position. Sorry.
I'm a good chair. It's all right.
We do have some genuine recruitment and retention. Well, not. I'll take one step further than genuine. Some serious recruitment and retention issues in various parts of the organisation, and by the organisation I mean the authority. We have significant issues recruiting property professionals, engineers, traffic management professionals, professional IT staff, project managers, and largely pay and conditions out in the marketplace are much, much better than ours. And I don't necessarily mean local authorities. The private sector at the minute, in terms of those professional services, building professionals, engineers, etc., is extremely buoyant. Even when you can't recruit staff to try and bring in a consultant to help you, even consultants now are cherry picking what they do because they can. So it's very, very difficult. So corporate management team at the minute are looking at a piece of work corporately. And part of that will be looking at our sort of middle management grading structure. Because without some of these key posts, we will not be able to deliver some of these big projects and big regeneration initiatives. So there is a major problem, Rob. But as the chair has said, and I've spoken to a couple of chief executives, it isn't only Caerphilly. It's a problem right across certainly South Wales, Wales generally, in terms of some of those professional local government services.
Thank you, Mark. And particular specialisms. I mean, the ones that Mark's listed, there are a whole host of other ones where the same issues are at play. It is a state of the market. It's the way things are at the moment. Rob, do you want to come back on that at all, having heard what Mark says?
Well, only, like I say, I know from different people in different departments, and I'm just wondering how far reaching what the range of it is. So from my point of view, and if Mark says it's unachievable, but if we could say in January have a kind of steer on where we're having trouble, on where we're missing bits, it might give us a better understanding, because it is, we were always saying that wherever we do, we'll never affect frontline services. And a lot of the things that we're doing is affecting frontline services. To give you an idea, I spoke to Mark Williams in property last week. The guy is stressed out, and it's somebody in his department had a serious heart condition, and he's helping us out by working. I spoke to Dean Smith in highways, and Dean's telling me out of 8 civil enforcement officers, we had 1 working. The frontline services. So it's just to get a feel for what's going on, and if that's across the piece, I can't say tell me what you're going to do to resolve it, because I think that's a moving feast. Different things would need different.
Before you respond,
the local government is not so much the wage.
Yeah. Before you respond, Mark,
pension, sorry, John, with the pension.
Sorry, yeah. I've got a delay on mine. I apologise. So thanks for interrupting. I do apologise. Before you respond, really a question back to Rob on this one. Perhaps a presentation from officers on the situation at a joint scrutiny would be something that would be advantageous, because it would give opportunity for members to understand completely what the situation is and how wide-reaching and far-reaching it is, in terms of the whole of not just this authority but other authorities, and maybe that's something that we could give some consideration to. Do you want to come back on that, Mark, before I invite Mike in, Councillor Adams?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Just, I don't want to hog this debate really, but just I'm aware of the case that Councillor Goff refers to in his discussion with Mark Williams. I'll just give this as an example. It's a great example. Many of you will know Tim Broadhurst, who's retired, and Mark Williams has been with the authority a long time as a valuer. So Mark is acting up into Tim's position. That left a void in terms of Mark's old job. We have advertised that 3 times. We've tried every agency in the book. At last, after months and months of trying to recruit somebody, we've managed to get somebody from an agency. But the problem is with somebody from an agency it's a short-term solution. But we've tried and tried and tried to fill the post on a permanent basis and just simply can't. And they, therefore Mark is almost doing the work of two people and has not been well himself. So, and these are the kind of backlogs and pressure points that it then creates and puts other staff under.
Yeah. Sorry, can I come in there, John?
Yes,
and that's the point I'm trying to make, Mark. It was embarrassing for me because Mark's a common old name, and because you've got Mark Williams, you've got Mark James, and everybody. So when you say Mark, it's a blanket comment. But I wasn't aware when I was commenting and being very critical of somebody's behaviour. I wasn't aware that that person, and having gone under a quadruple bypass myself, I wasn't aware that that person had a heart condition. And it doesn't help when your counsellors then trying to G things up. I would hate to think, not long ago, back last year, I think, one of your staff suffered, one of the enforcement people suffered a heart attack. And as members, we're not aware of that, and I don't think we should be. But when we're in the frustrating times we are, with emails not responded to and things not happening, that relationship between officers is perhaps isn't as it should be. But I felt really sorry afterwards, having been in that position, to kick off on something. But we don't know. And I think if we get a better steer on the staffing levels and issues, it might help us to be more understanding our behaviour, perhaps.
Well, I'll discuss that with CMT and we'll try and set something up in the new year.
Yeah.
Okay. I think as a committee, we would really appreciate that, Mark. Can I, Mike? Do you want to come in now?
Just to go back to some of the issues that we've got within the comments about where delays in filling vacant posts is one of the comments in 5.22, and that's seen elsewhere as well. But in respect of planning, now Rob and other planning committee members, because we look at our weekly list so much better, I suppose, than some of the councillors, what do we see? We are seeing quite a few new names to us over the last year. And I can't wait until we see these people actually presenting their cases to the planning committee and really in live debate if we can, rather than online. So we can actually start to make some contacts with these new officers. And the question was, Rian, have they come from local authority in the main, or are they youngsters out of uni with the qualifications that we are happy to employ and hopefully for a number of years?
Rian, do you want to come in?
Yes, Chair, if I may. Yeah, you're right, Councillor Adams. I got a list of officers' names now that no one knows because we were fortunate enough to recruit. I'm pleased to advise members that, unlike some service areas, we were very successful in recruiting to those new posts, and we have great new officers in planning, so those names won't be familiar necessarily to you. Combination of people, some have come from other authorities, some have come direct from university as a brand new graduates and are keen and shiny and new. But it's nice. There's a nice young crowd now started with us, and I'm really pleased to welcome into the organisation, and they're really looking forward to meeting the members properly. So yeah, they're really good set of officers, and we're really pleased to have them.
That goes both ways, Rian, and hopefully we're going to learn off each other. For those of us who in the next few years are still going to be here and in planning and testing those officers, we want them to be successful. I'm sure Rob would back that up now.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, and just picking up on that theme there, Mark, you'll take this to CMT, which I'm sure we'd appreciate. It might well be that we could add to that an introductory session too for the new officers, Rianne, so that we all get to know them. It'll help them and help us. I think there's an opportunity. I think for joint scrutiny to play a part in that. So I think that would be an excellent move moving forward. Do we have any more questions on this issue currently? I don't see any hands up.
No more hands at the moment, Chair.
Okay, fine. Right, I've got to get back to my place now. He said, desperately scrolling across the screen. So if I can move to the recommendations in the report, which are set out on 3 and 3.1. The Housing and Regeneration Scrutiny Committee members are requested to note the contents of this report and the detailed budget monitoring pages that follow in respect of the Regeneration and Planning Division, which we are talking about now, which all fall within the remits of this Scrutiny Committee. So, Kath, I'm right in saying there isn't a vote on this. We just note the report, yes?
That's correct, Chair, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you
move we
very
note,
much.
Chair.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, members, there's nothing more to add to that. Thank you all for tonight. I tried to stay with you. I think I've been going in and out and losing some of your contacts, so do apologies for that. Thank you again, officers, for all your hard work on this, and I look forward to seeing you all again shortly.
Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Chair.